Welcome to the Public Speaking Experts Podcast with Elliot Kay and Jose Ucar. Every week we bring the tips, tools, and strategies for you to become a world-class public speaker. We bring you guests, experts, and authorities in the field of public speaking to enrich you and enhance your public speaking journey. Remember to subscribe, rate, and comment. And now, please welcome your hosts, Elliot and Jose.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I'm taking my shades off because I think I look ridiculous doing a podcast recording with shades. But Jose is keeping his shades on. Jose, what's up with that?
What's up with you? I mean, today's not about. Well, what? Are you picking up fight already? I mean, this is supposed to be the Speaking Experts Podcast, and I'm wearing the shades because I like it.
You see, if I was you, here's how I would respond. Are you ready? I'd be like, Elliot, why are you wearing the shades? Because I'm blown away by guest's beauty, and I had to wear shades because she's so vibrant to protect my eyes of her glowingness. That's how I would have answered it.
There we go. So I just went into defensive mode because I'm tired of you attacking me every time. So I need to change that. That's something for me to work on. Okay, I'll work on that.
So let's go again. Jose, why are you wearing shades?
Whoa. Oh, goodness me. I had to put them back on again because I just look at Lindsay. She's with us today. And I mean, the way she shines, it's not like a star. It's not like a diamond. Yeah, we're talking about this lady in the middle between Elliot and myself. Let's do a super duper incredible introduction because she is a star and she shines like one. Therefore, that's why I was wearing the glasses.
She is a star. Lindsay, welcome to the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. I bet you've never had a greeting like that before.
I mean, I have been blown away. That is some smooth talking. Like, Elliot, where did you get those skills? Practice. Hey?
Well, listen, there's so much you don't know about me, Lindsay.
He spends a lot of time with me, Lindsay.
All about it. Good stuff. So Lindsay is an online fitness coach turned brand strategist. And I'm super excited to have Lindsay on board because Lindsay and I and Jose, we've all met each other on Clubhouse. We've met each other in real life since. And what's fascinating about Lindsay is she's built a whole business on the back of Clubhouse. She was already very good at what she does, but she's really extended it. So today we are going to be focusing a lot on Clubhouse. We are going to be focusing on the mistakes people make and, of course, what to do about it. And I think my camera's a bit wonky. Everything happens live here on this podcast. We don't hide anything on this podcast. So, Lindsay, first of all, tell us a little bit about you, your journey. You know, let's hear about your glowingness, la legenda. Lindsay, welcome to the Public Speaking Podcast.
Cool. Thanks for having me. I mean, this is going to be fun. It sounds like it's going to be a bit crazy as well with you two. It's nice to be able to see your faces and not just your profile pictures, and have very much missed you both on Clubhouse lately.
Yeah, I've missed you too. Well, I can talk for myself. I missed you.
Yes, I don't miss Elliot, that's for sure, Lindsay. So I do miss you.
I'm feeling the love here today, guys. I'm feeling the love. So yeah, a little bit about me. Well, actually, where do I even start? Maybe let's go back pre-pandemic, if you can even remember.
Yeah, let's do that.
Time.
I think of like Clubhouse came mid-pandemic and accelerated a lot of people's journey.
Yeah,
and talk to us in the times where we were allowed out. Talk to us about that.
Crikey, that feels like a long time ago. I was actually only saying at the weekend when buying some more makeup, it's been about 2.5 years since I bought makeup. So that goes to show how often I get out of the house. So pre-pandemic, like way before I got into the fitness industry, I actually used to work in investment banking. I was in the city. I was in corporate life, working for a couple of Swiss banks and a very well-known American bank. And then I literally woke up one day. I was like, I don't like this anymore, and jumped ship and dived straight into the world of fitness. And my fitness story's kind of got a bit of a mixed background. I actually jumped into working for boot camps, military boot camps, and I was kind of like the boot camp mum. So I was helping all these sort of X and Z list wives lose a lot of weight.
Were you already into fitness though?
No. I just wanted to be outdoors.
Okay, so let's start back a little bit. Let's start back.
Yeah.
You're like working in corporate banking, looking at numbers, looking at data, and you wake up, well, okay, I've had enough. And you literally go, I know I'm going to be getting into fitness. Is that literally how it went?
No, not quite. What happened is I was in a room share at the time, and I was in a house share. I wasn't sharing my room, actually. I was sharing a house. I was in a house.
Slight difference.
Where I was with some website designers, and they were designing a website for Europeans' #1 boot camp at the time, and I was, moaning like you do, like hate my job, blah blah blah. And they were like, you know what, you'd be really good on this. Like, you'd be basically like a boot camp mom. So you've got 20 normally quite wealthy women that are very uncomfortable with how they are. They've lost themselves. They're sort of that sort of 40 years age group. And they're really trying to work hard to find themselves and get confident in their own skin again. They were like, you'd be basically like their mom. And then the other side of things is you're managing military PTIs that don't like being told what to do, bossed about, or anything. So I had two dynamics. I was the empathetic ear, and then I was like, boys, you need to like be here and doing this now. So I thought, well, why not? Let's give it a go. And incidentally, every time I went on these residential boot camps, I lost weight because I was eating the same food that the women were eating. And we were out like 5 a.m. till sort of 6, 7 p.m. And then you just zonked because of bedtime. It was brutal, hardcore. But of course, that threw me into like being outdoors, which anyone that follows me on social media knows that I probably should be a mountain goat. And secondly, true, I'm very similar.
Not the go part, not the go part. just for the listeners out there, not the go part.
And then the other part of it is just that I really enjoyed getting into shape and being in fitness. So I basically decided to then kind of pursue my own fitness journey. And with doing that, I realized I was quite good at learning how to build my physique and change my physique. And I was getting a lot of people asking me for tips and tricks. And then I thought, well, whilst I'm doing this, let's learn to be a personal trainer. It's a qualification you can do on the side. Didn't really know what I was going to do with it, and just thought, why not? I'd set up another business in the meantime, and then I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go all in on personal training, and that's kind of where I'm at now, or where I was until the pandemic. So I was face-to-face PT, and then I don't know if you heard about this thing called COVID came around.
No, what's that?
Basically, something which meant you had to stay in your house.
No. Never. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a unwelcome guest that will never leave.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you run out of milk, sugar, or coffee, they still stick around drinking everything that you've got in the house, including all the horrible wine and spirits.
Don't go there, Jose. I know where you're trying to go. Go.
No, I
thought you were going to say it's like having Elliot round, but okay.
No. You see, you're very defensive. No, I wasn't going to attack you. I was just going to, I was going to tell a very silly joke, but now you took it away from me. I was going to say,
no, go on, tell a silly joke.
Was that the person you were sharing your house with? You remember when you said you were on a house share? Yeah, exactly. So.
No, I was sharing a room. Sharing a house. Live on my own with my dog, and my dog does drive me up the wall, but he's very cute nonetheless. But I'm not of you two. I'm feeling there's been a bit of a tiff. Do we need to kiss and make up?
No, there's no tiff. It's just banter. There's a lot of love. Actually, today we went and bought pretty much all the domains under the public speaking expert show that could possibly be bought. So no, there's a lot of love. It's
feeling the love,
Lindsay. It's just banter.
This is good.
I know
he
does want me to kiss him, but I keep telling him I have a wife and stuff.
We'll get there, Lindsay. That's why I keep on, coming up here. We'll get there.
Persistence pays off in the end. That's what I've always been told.
I mean, one thing I'm loving is the what?
Go on.
Oh, I was going to say one thing I'm loving, Lindsay. We've spoken, we met on Clubhouse, but we never actually had the opportunity, which is the beauty of a podcast like this. We never had the opportunity to listen to what it was for you before pre-COVID. And that is already an amazing journey. And where you are today, which we're going to get there soon, is amazing. So people get ready, because this is a one and only journey, which I admire as well a lot, because it's been like, I mean, I'm not going to say overnight, but it's been a quick kind of growth that you've experienced. Am I right to say that on Clubhouse since you started and everything else? At least your positioning. I don't know about the business, but the positioning, you seem like, wow, I see you now. It's just like, wow, Lindsay, there you go. Boom, boom, boom.
La leyenda.
Yeah.
Came at the right time for me in a lot of ways. And the pandemic came at the right and wrong time for me in a lot of ways, both what was going on in my business life and personal life. And I probably the one person that doesn't actually ever really talk about me very much. So you might get a bit more information out of me than most people. But the same day that the gym shut down, so basically my business went from fully booked 50 hours a week, because I've always been a bit of a workaholic, to flat bang zero. That same day that the lockdown came, the gym shut, divorce papers arrived on my doorstep. And
Whoa, rewind. Rewind when the boat's can selector, right? Divorce papers, you were married?
Yeah, so I was married. We'd already
Okay.
separated. And actually, do you know what? It was just, we didn't work out. There was no bad story there. But I was in a very toxic relationship when lockdown was announced, and it kind of was just me managing to keep my head above water because I was so busy with work. And when I say my head above water, I don't mean financially, I just mean mentally. So my work for me was me escaping the house. It was me just coping and trying to work out this massive exit strategy. And then suddenly it was like everything just piled down on me all in one hit. So the business, for want of a better phrase, it didn't go under, but it literally just sank one day. The door shut on my escape route to get out and all of the rest of it. And then, then divorce papers arrived, and then I was locked in a house with someone that was pretty much, we were in a very abusive relationship. So I was just like, what the F? So it was a rough, maybe like, when did I jump on Clubhouse? February. So it was a rough year, pretty much a full on 12 months of me having to kind of really find my feet again. I had to try and really strip things back, take things one step at a time. The police were involved, so I had to end up living on my own. Then I had to try and find a way to recuperate financially. I was quite prominent online, and I had to try and find a way of positioning myself online where I felt comfortable being transparent in what was going on without giving too much away. And then I had to try and deal with solicitors when I just really, that was the last thing on my mind. So yeah, then Clubhouse came around, and I think if it had come around any sooner, if I jumped on it any sooner, I wouldn't have optimized it for the way that it was. I think it came at a time where I was a little bit more comfortable about who I am. And I thought, it's now or never, you've got to go for this. We're in the middle of a lockdown. I was quite lonely, as I think most people were, even if they were single, even if they were with people and living in their family unit, that was still quite a lonely experience for a lot of people. And I think a lot of us found conversations that maybe we wouldn't have been having elsewhere because we were so restricted. So, for me, if I hadn't jumped in the Alex and Sabrina show the day that I did and heard Alex talking about open water swimming and me nosing on his Instagram and seeing that he actually was swimming at the beach that I was swimming in. So I was swimming there because my anxiety was really bad. And I find that open water swimming was really like helping me just switch off.
Yeah.
So for me, I was, I was already going there. I was already open water swimming. And then I saw that Alex was doing it. And I was like, hey, do you fancy some crazy person you've never met before coming swimming with you? He voice noted me back, sent me his mobile number. So guys and girls, if you're listening and you want Alex Chisnell's number, he gives it out so easily.
Hey, you see, I'm feeling a bit jealous here, right? Because I have never had his number ever. He's been on this podcast. I've messaged him.
I love that.
Nothing. I know Jose's got it. You've got it. I am so not in the Alex Chisnell Club.
Do you know what you need to do, Elliot? And it's pretty obvious that Jose's done this as well, is you need to offer to go swimming with him in a bikini and then boom.
I'm going to give away my secret. Years ago, I took a picture of me in a mankini. So I used that on specific occasions, and that was one of them. So it was just a yes. I sent a picture without a voice note, Jose in a mankini, and then I got his number back. And we haven't been swimming together, but I'm sure that will happen at some point.
Are you sure he didn't give you the number for different reasons if you sent him a picture of you in a mankini?
I don't know. I like to believe it's just because, we get along well, and we see opportunities for partnerships and clubhousing together and swimming and all of that. So I strongly believe
you
that.
keep believing that. You keep
Yeah,
believing. By the way,
yeah.
if you do want to listen to who Alex Chisnell is, he is one of our guests. So scroll through the episodes and you can see where he talks about how to use podcasting as a speaker. So he's a fantastic person to definitely connect with and to listen to as well. So Lindsay, first of all, thank you for being so open, so honest. I had no idea, obviously, because we've never really had an in-depth conversation that you went through all that. So thank you for being so open and honest. We're not going to delve into that today because today's not about that and a personal side, although I'd love to find out more at some point when we do talk and converse and when you're happy to discuss such things. So tell us about the rise of Lindsay on Clubhouse. In fact, before we, tell us a little about that, and then we can skate into a little bit of the mistakes people make. So
absolutely.
Aren't we going to have a transition here, Ellie? One of those transitions, because this is
you know
important.
what?
This is the rise of Lindsay
exactly.
on Clubhouse.
I put my cursor on it, and then I thought, because we're not in problems, I'm not going to use the transition, but we're going to use the transition. Wait here, Lindsay. So, Lindsay, tell us about your rise on Clubhouse.
I like it. Well, do you know what? Like when I jumped on Clubhouse, and I don't know if you guys felt the same, but I was in that mindset of, I don't really need another social media app. Like I've got a lot of social media going on. And I resisted jumping on for quite some time. And then I jumped on, and then I thought, what the heck is a fitness professional going to do on an app where you can't even see me? And then I thought, do you know what? Now or never. No one else is doing anything fitness related on here. And I was listening in on a lot of the business rooms, because the one thing that I don't like doing is going into other fitness rooms and listening to other fitness professionals argue about the best way to lose weight or the best diet, because we all know that there's not one size fits all. So I didn't really want any more animosity in my life. So I dived into the business rooms, having got a business corporate background anyway. I was quite enjoying them. And naturally, it doesn't matter what industry your business is, there are key elements, like email, marketing, sales, they all transcend into similar things. So I was enjoying listening to those side of things. And it was only when I was in one of those rooms, I thought there's a lot of business people in here all saying that they don't have enough time and that they want to stay on top of their health and wellness game. So I was like, well, look, what have we all got? We've all got time, but we're all very precious on it. So if everyone's on this app and they can find 15 minutes, let me try and get people to work out for just those 15 minutes. And the good thing about Clubhouse, other than any other social app, is that you can stay on Clubhouse whilst looking at other things. Whereas like Instagram, as soon as you come out of Instagram, you're off of Instagram. So for me, I was like, well, I can stay talking to people on Clubhouse and get them to actually look at what I'm doing on Instagram at the same time. So that's what I started doing. And I actually called it Fitness in 15. Got quite a bit of traction on it, and then realized, well, actually, there's so many other fitness professionals on this app. They're clearly all either looking for clients or looking to build their brands. They're not someone that I'm in competition with, because fitness is such a huge sector. I specialize in weight training. I don't specialize in yoga. I don't do bar. I don't do zoo. And so when I was in these rooms, I was like cherry picking people, going, oh, you're great. Let's listen to you, and bringing them over to the club. So the club suddenly became this, I guess, one-stop shop for anyone that wanted to do fitness, whatever category they wanted, and they could pick it, and they would do 15 minutes with that instructor. And I mean, that's just one thing that I've been doing on Clubhouse, and that transcended as the first business that I opened up from Clubhouse, because we're now in the process of being almost at the stage of finalizing the platform where it's going to be like a Netflix for fitness. So people can actually join up as a membership, and then they can choose which instructor they work with. They can choose when they work. It's going to be at a touch of a button. And, all of that came because now everyone's a bit more receptive to working out online because of the pandemic. But that would never have happened if Clubhouse, and never have accelerated at the speed that it has done if Clubhouse wasn't around. I wouldn't have even have known these instructors. Some of them are in other countries. Got Coach G in Toulouse, for example, Vanessa in California. I'd never have known these people existed. So now I've got a business that's actually branded to the point where people know what I do. But other people in other countries, Australia, America, the UK, they all know about that brand. And that's all because of Clubhouse. So that was just the first bit, I guess. And then suddenly Alex, who obviously we've already mentioned, got stuck one day. He was like, any chance you can help me with the room? And I was like, well, you know what I'm doing. But yeah, go on.
You mean Sabrina didn't show up?
Pretty much. She was riding a camel, I think.
Well, let's quickly say Sabrina wasn't on the same time as we were, so she was over in California back then. So just in case people go, yeah, how did she?
Yeah,
By the way,
she was in Dubai, wasn't she, at the time? And she just loved riding camels. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah, she was in Dubai. That's true. And then she went to California. Okay, yeah.
We need to. Yeah, I think if you just talk about her riding camels, that could be misunderstood.
Well,
So
you've got to join Clubhouse to find out what that means.
Look,
Exactly.
let's invite her. Let's invite her next time, Elliot, so she can clarify and explain all of that situation.
I think, yeah, you're supposed to be on that. That's supposed to be your job.
You mean
that.
on Sabrina, on the camel, on the situation?
No,
let's
on the
clarify that as
podcast.
well. Oh, on the podcast. Okay. Yeah. By the way, I got my wife upstairs as usual. So sorry.
So Alex reaches out while Sabrina is on a camel, right?
And just says, any chance you can help moderate the room? So I was like, well, don't know what I'm doing, but how hard can it be? Pressing a few buttons, bringing people up like Jose and Elliot. It can't go too wrong, can it? And suddenly people liked the way that I managed the room, and they liked the style of moderating. I just found holding the space quite easy. And the next thing I know, I'm getting messages in my inbox. Will you help me moderate this room? Will you help moderate this room? And I'm just there going like, what? Like, this is crazy. All I did was help out like once or twice. And now suddenly I'm getting direct messages saying, from people that are very senior, huge corporate owners or very, very high up in their business, suddenly wanting my help. And then that's when I suddenly realized, actually, okay, I found something that I'm actually pretty good at here and enjoy doing. And then came Clubhouse like a pro.
Yeah, okay. So before we get on to all of that stuff, let's talk about some of the mistakes people make on Clubhouse. So what are some of the big boo-boos that, oh my gosh, and some of the, even just in terms of showing up and, obviously this is all about public speaking, but give us your juicy inside knowledge of like, oh my God, don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I think a lot of people get on that app and spend hours and hours on it and don't really get that return on investment. And half the time it's because they're sat listening in on rooms and never speaking. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some rooms where you think absolutely sit there, take notes, implement them in your business. It's the first class way to learn for free. Especially some of these people on this app, you'd normally pay a lot of money to go and hear them speak in person, especially
the public speaking
expert. Pandemic. Yeah,
the Elliot and Jose show. I know what you mean.
Thousands to get you two on stage in real life. So, taking notes from those sorts of people and making sure that you're implementing it, great. But if you really want your brand to be heard and seen, you can't be sitting in an audience. You need to be up on stage. But it's one of those places where people will remember you if you say something great, but also if you do something stupid or inappropriate. So you really do have to pick your audience and pick what you say. And actually being heard is important, but being heard at the right time is super important. So I would advise actually people getting into rooms where they can ask questions, first of all, because I think if you just go in acting like you know everything, and you may very well be someone that is very good in that particular area of conversation, but if you go in acting like the big Don on someone else's room, you're going to just smash with like loggerheads, and it's not going to serve you well in the long run. So I would go in on that sort of slowly approach where you go in, you ask questions, and then you make people aware of what it is that you do, but you also give that sense of intrigue that you want to learn more. So people are then receptive to wanting to engage in conversation with you. That would be my first top tip. Well, not top tip, but so just the first thing that people go wrong with.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Respect the room. Right. Don't come on stage with ego, right? 100%. Especially in someone else's room.
Or dick swinging, as Jeremy used to call it,
Yeah. How big is your dick?
Huge.
That's not a question.
Oh, okay. You don't want me to answer because then,
no. It's more of a, it's an attitude.
It won't fit in here. It's an attitude. Yeah. Then I've got, I like a big swinger. Yeah. Or whatever.
And what you've just said there, Elliot, as well, is respect the room. So whenever I'm moderating a room, I ask moderators to flash their mics, and I will come to them. I'll name check them and say, Elliot, speak for me, or you answer this question. If you're up on stage and you are being deemed as the expert, don't interrupt everybody else. Ultimately, everyone's time is valuable, and I like to make sure that people have a fair chance to contribute. Now, of course, if you're not flashing your mics and you're not wanting to contribute, then that's up to you. But there will be sometimes a lot of people wanting to answer a question. And if someone's spoken a lot, I'd rather hear from someone that's not had that opportunity yet. So again, just be respectful of other people's time. If you're in a board meeting in real life, you wouldn't shout over the top of people. So you definitely shouldn't do that just because you're behind a screen.
Well, in the space you're in, I'm sure that they used to do that a lot. Being in the
investment banking world, you just shout.
Right? But that's another thing. So it's quite interesting. So respect the room. Obviously, show up. Don't interrupt. Show up as the expert. Stay in your lane a little bit. Like, only share about your expertise is another one. And something you mentioned is really interesting, because a lot of people jumped on Clubhouse and they're like, yeah, so many people are going, I jumped on Clubhouse and I made £25,000 from one client. Da, da, da. And again, would you say, like anything, Clubhouse is a long-term strategy. It's not a quick fix or a quick dip. You've got to be present. You've got to be continuous. Would you say that's about right?
100%. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that someone hasn't made £25,000 in 1 month or 6 weeks on Clubhouse, but I'd like to see it. I'd really like the proof of it. Ultimately, there is money to be made on Clubhouse. There's money to be made on other social media apps as well. But most quick hits are exactly that. They're a quick hit, and then what happens? You're going to be seeing a much better return on investment if you apply a strategy that's not only consistent, but it's enjoyable. It's something that you can actually do for a long period of time, so it's sustainable, and something that actually doesn't necessarily require you to be there all of the time. Now, Clubhouse is one of those apps where your voice is your voice. You can't pre-record things. So if you're going to go in and say, I'm going to do a room 5 days a week, that's 5 days a week until you decide it's not going to be 5 days a week. And then what? So you need to make sure whatever your strategy looks like, it's sustainable for you, because ultimately we all want days off, and we all want to be in businesses that are kind of self-sufficient. So it's either then you have to start working as a team. So like you two work together. And I imagine if Elliot decided to take a day off, like Jose could probably go, do you know what? I can handle the room on my own. It's unusual, but like I could do that.
Whereas no, it's actually it happens a lot. It happens a lot. So yeah, so thank you, Lindsay, for highlighting that.
It happens both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there is a lot of power in collaboration on Clubhouse. And I think other social media apps, because you've got your team, if you've got your admin assistants, etc., they can do a lot of that for you. They create all of the scheduling. They put those posts ready to be done at some stage or another. That can be done in advance. With Clubhouse, that's not the case, but you can't really get your VA that doesn't speak great English to come on and speak for you in an English speaking room. So therefore there's power in collaboration. If there's maybe 4 or 5 of you that constantly show up consistently to a room, the room can still run if you're feeling poorly or decided that you just want to have a well-deserved day off. So I would definitely look at how you're planning to move forward with it, but don't be put off if you don't make money immediately. I certainly didn't make a penny immediately, and I'm sure you two are exactly the same. But these things, they snowball, don't they? You just find that one day you wake up and you're like, wow, what did I do? Well, actually, it's those months that you've been putting in behind, but you just don't see it.
I came on the app and made millions.
Obviously,
exactly.
I'm going to my Ferrari in a minute. And
as soon as he started hanging out with me, his life changed. But I mean, there's snowball effect here, and you guys can disagree or agree at the same time. Either way,
I have to put the sunglasses back on because of your amazingness. It's just blowing me away.
It's just like blowing away. But that snowball effect doesn't only affect the business in terms of revenue, but for example, for Elliot and I, it's been the content that we've created, the platform that's been built in the background. Now, the conversation we're having happened because of Clubhouse, because we didn't know you before, Lindsay, and we built this relationship on Clubhouse.
Did you decided to before?
No. Well, not really.
Well, briefly, we didn't really like each other that much. So, which now you can see we love each other.
We still don't.
Exactly. So, well, we met on a podcast, whatever. But then actually the relationship grew stronger on Clubhouse, or grew somehow. I have a question, because we mentioned today, and we mention this often, how to be perceived as an authority. And that is one thing, Lindsay, every time I come into your rooms, I hear you speak, And in my mind, you are not serious. You are not fun. You are charismatic. I mean, you've got everything
I was
in
like,
there.
where's he going with this? Where's he going? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You're not fun. You're not serious. You're just wasting my time. So that's why I don't join your rooms anymore.
Wait,
But-
that
Sorry,
deserves
Alex, I ruined it.
I like how you led that. I was like, Jose, be careful what you say next. But beautifully done. Beautifully done.
Thank you very much. I feel accepted and appreciated. So that's one thing I experience when I hear you speak. So I'm always curious about what's happening in the background. So what are you thinking about when you are in the room and you have over 80, 100, and I know sometimes over 200 people you've had in your rooms and maybe even more. So what's going on? Because when you speak honestly, it's that, wow, she is a person to listen to.
I laugh because normally what's going on is I've got myself on mute yelling at the dog because he's doing something really stupid.
That's the science and the art behind it. There we go.
The art is get a dog as annoying as mine, so you've got no frustration on stage. You're just letting it all out behind stage on mute.
Okay.
Do you know what it is? It's like, first of all, I just think you need to show a level of respect to everyone that's on stage. And there are some people that are up on stage that are multimillionaires, that are, 10 businesses. They've been in business, like they're 30 years older than me, 40 years older than me. So you do absolutely have to show them respect. But equally, I'm very, and I do this in my personal life as well, I don't think you can favor people. So I very much treat everyone exactly the same when they're on stage, whether they're a beginner, brand new onto Clubhouse, or if they've been on Clubhouse forever, and if I feel that someone's out of line, I think there's a way you can tell someone's out of line without being rude about it. And so I just try and make sure that like my tone of voice stays very similar throughout so that people can't ascertain that I might be cross or wound up. I try and make sure that when I'm talking on stage that everybody knows that everyone's being treated exactly the same regardless, and we're just going to keep the same level of energy. We're just going to keep it nice and calm, so then no one else gets their backs up, etc. I'm trying to think. You've already said that I'm not fun, so obviously I don't. I don't fun in a
now
room.
you're going to use those words against me. Now you got my point, because there are people that are too much of an extreme or the other, and you bring everything together. So what I wanted to say is just that balance. It's very well balanced when you are running, especially running the room or interacting with other people there. So it was just something I wanted to highlight.
You're holding a space for other people to speak. It's not the Lindsay show. It literally is I like to run Q&A rooms actually, because I think it gives people in the audience an opportunity to come up and speak when otherwise sometimes they feel like they're being spoken at. And I think that's just me trying to think, what room would I like to be sat in the audience in? And then that's kind of how I operate and how I moderate. Whereas I know sometimes it can seem like it's always one person talking, and I'm very aware of that. Like I like to have just balance. No one really wants to listen to the same voice for 30, 40 minutes. Sometimes if they listen to a podcast, fair enough. But ultimately, when they're in a room, they've joined a conversation. The conversation isn't one person. So just want to keep things moving, keep things flowing. And if I feel that I'm losing interest, then I know there'll be people in the audience losing interest. And so that's kind of just how I tend to try and keep momentum.
You know what you remind me of when you say that? There was a producer in Sweden who produced loads of hits, Britney Spears and Ace of Base. And he used to sit there when he produced, and he went, if I'm getting bored, the audience is getting bored.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he made sure every bit of it was enticing and interesting. And he would then, of course, test it. He used to DJ at a club, and he said if the audience started to slow down or disperse, then he would go and tweak it again. And I guess that's why they were behind so many great hits. So you kind of remind me a bit of that as well. So I'm going to ask one question, and I think it's quite interesting. Because you actually get paid to moderate rooms and things like that, because, we had chats about it. How did that come about? Was it just, because was it just by showing up regularly and people just went, look, we'll pay you for your time? Or was it like, how much? How do you make that transition to, because a lot of people mod rooms, not many people get paid to mod rooms. Let's be honest.
I agree. I think it's more prominent in the American market than it is in the UK market. And I don't know if that's because Americans are more receptive to actually paying for services, or if they've just got bigger balls to actually ask. But, very polite British people. But for me, I think it got to the stage where I just was like, okay, I need to start valuing my time and my return on investment. Now, I think the other thing I was thinking about, well, I wouldn't ask someone to do something for free for me. So why should I offer that for free for them? Now, it's a bit different if you're doing a return on services, but I wasn't. And also if someone was asking me to moderate a room I had zero interest in and couldn't promote my business, what was I really doing there? So then I started thinking, well, actually, I know I'm a good moderator because I'm told all the time. So if people are telling me and people are happy to review me and say, yeah, they're great, and then they're asking for me to be in their rooms and moderate their rooms, then they clearly see the value in me being there. So let's really test what that value is. And then I just started to think, well, actually, you could do it yourself. So there's a reason why you're not doing it yourself. You're either too nervous, you're too scared, or you can't be bothered. And if it's a case that you can't be bothered, then that means you're not seeing the time and the money and the value in it. So therefore, you can definitely make sure you're not wasting my time. You don't want to waste your time. You're not wasting my time. And then if you are seeing a return on investment in it and you are seeing business growth, then you need to give me some profit share of that because I'm helping you grow your business. So yeah, I tell you what, it was a really uncomfortable. The first email I sent was really uncomfortable. I think I actually even contacted you, Elliot, about it. I had a conversation with Alex, and because it's one of those where you don't know how much people are charging, it was very hard to know what figure to go in with. And I deliberated over it for well, it's probably about 2 or 3 days. I had conversations with a few people. It's very easy when you've already got competitors because you know where to price yourself. But this was like the blind lead in the blind. It really was. And I just ended up going with, okay, this feels right in my gut. Actually, do you know what? If they don't take me up on it, nothing lost. And
and they took you up on it.
Yeah, that's where it went from there. Yeah.
Amazing. Yay. This is fantastic
I
stuff.
think round of applause, Elliot.
Wait, you can't spring that on.
You can't just demand applause.
There we go. And you also deserve this.
That's a big one. I like that one.
There we go. And because you're not funny or fun, there you go. Good stuff there. No, that's amazing, Lindsay. What a journey. So what does the future look like for you, Lindsay? I mean, we don't know, but if I can wave a magic wand, what does your future look like?
Yeah, well, I mean, naturally, I jumped straight out of face-to-face personal training because I had to, and now my business is reasonably self-sufficient online. I do very little face-to-face work now, but it's actually helped me build several other businesses that aren't all in the fitness industry, and that's actually allowed me to do other skills or incorporate other skill sets that I feel I enjoy doing. So for me, I just think I want to work more with helping other brands show up online and actually get proper strategies in place to propel their businesses and get that return on investment. Because social media is a dangerous game. You can waste a lot of time on there. There isn't such thing as overnight success though. And I do see a lot of people don't see the value in it and they lose patience. But I know for a fact, if I hadn't have built my social media up in the years pre-pandemic, when the pandemic hit and I obviously ended up getting my shit together, that I then realized actually I've got a huge audience here, sort of 12, 13,000 people there that I could really utilize when it comes to changing the business dynamics. And if I hadn't have built that up, and I never saw the value in what I was doing, there wasn't a strategy. It was just Lindsay quite like posting on social media. But if I hadn't have been consistent with that, for whatever reason, there was obviously some fairy godmother in the background going, this is going to prove like worthwhile. Whereas actually now it's given me the insight to go, do you know what, there was a strategy there, I just didn't realize it. And now this is where this is kind of like led to. And so actually online is so powerful. We're all jumping online, as you know. It's always going to be on the way up. In fact, I think even more businesses are going to go online than we even know right this second. And of course, Clubhouse, I'm very confident that it will grow. I think it's had that honeymoon period. And I know everyone got a little bit like, oh, it's going to die. It's not going to last. But people said that about Twitter. People said that about TikTok. And they're still booming. It's just going to take a bit of a lull. And then people are going to realize, actually, it's a good place to be.
Well, I think also people kind of got the Clubhouse fatigue, right? They kind of jumped on and, and then again, they weren't thinking long term and like there's hours and hours and hours. And of course, it doesn't get the return straight away. and then they didn't get it. So a lot of people jumped off. I mean, and I'm talking about people that gathered thousands of followers,
I know.
like thousands, and they jumped off.
Criminal.
It's too hard. It's too hard. Well, not being strategic. You know, you're expecting that immediate. You want a one-night stand, not a long-term relationship, right?
Oh, I like that. I'm going to steal that. Yeah, absolutely. And also, people were on it in the middle of a pandemic where they've got F all left to do. So of course they're not going to be able to keep that up. And that's, I don't think people thought long term with it. I think it was a very short term mentality. Whereas the people that I'm watching that are doing really, really well are, they're not slow growers, but they're just, they chip away, they show up, they're still there, but they're not constantly on it every time I look. And yeah, those people that have got the huge followings are the ones that aren't really there anymore, which is baffling and very annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, all of this, I've got a question based on that, Lindsay, because we went all on Clubhouse during the pandemic. We've mentioned that, and we would spend loads of hours. So now that some things are coming back to normal and you're experiencing, you're doing face-to-face as well, you mentioned, what would you recommend to the audience in terms of finding a balance between the time they still spend on Clubhouse and going back to the face-to-face world because their business needs that face-to-face as well?
I think it's making sure that you repurpose what you do on Clubhouse, which I'll touch on in just a sec, but also finding a time that isn't going to get compromised. So that could be that every Thursday afternoon, you're always going to be at home. That's the time you don't have face-to-face clients. So committing to just that, 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, something that you can consistently commit to. If you can jump on for more, great, but just get that consistency in there first. But if you can also see other benefits of being online on Clubhouse, for example. So when I'm in rooms and I'm running my own rooms, I'm often running a transcribe app in the background, and I'm creating like notes and content that I can then repurpose on LinkedIn, or I can repurpose in a blog post, or I can repurpose on Instagram or Facebook. So therefore it doesn't feel like, for want of a better phrase, a waste of time when you don't see that instant pound sign come through because someone's bought something off the back of your room. But the other thing is to just make sure when you're in there that you do, if you have something to offer, you mention it and you offer it. There's no point in expecting people to tap on your profile, then go through to your website, then see what you've got for offer. So again, going in there with an intention, what do you want out of the room and what can you take away from the room? And then just going in little and often, I think, is probably the best thing to do. If you can do more, great. But yes, so many people got that fatigue because they just did every day. They did a peak time, and then they, when they've got a business meeting that they've got to attend to, then it suddenly proves to be, it's annoying, it's problematic, and then you don't like it anymore. When you loathe something, it becomes a struggle to turn up. So definitely try and go little and often, I think, is the best way forward with that.
Love it.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
Brilliant
stuff. Cool stuff.
So you've come along, you've shared lots of golden nuggets, lots of insights, lots of your heart and your wisdom. So how do people reach out to Linda?
And can I say, Lindsay, it's been fun as well, okay? It's been fun. lots of fun, like lots of fun, honestly. Not because of Elliot, by the way.
Lindsay is fun and charismatic and outgoing
and serious.
Yeah. And very serious. So seriously, people can find me on Clubhouse, funny that, or over on Instagram. On Clubhouse, I'm Lynsey Trahan. On LinkedIn, I'm Lynsey Trahan. And then on most other social media, I'm Lynsey Suzanne. I run a business called Clubhouse Like a Pro. So if you're listening to this and you've never jumped on Clubhouse, you want to know what Clubhouse is, I do have a course for people that have never stepped foot on Clubhouse or stepped foot on and almost gone like, oh, what is this? And panicked. So that there's a very entry-level course there. Or if you've been on Clubhouse a while and you're looking to get really strategic and serious, then I offer strategy calls and one-to-one coaching in that area as well. So there's anything Clubhouse related, you'll find it on Clubhouse like a pro.club.
Amazing. So Jose, any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Thank you very much. All the wisdoms has come today from Lindsay, I would like to say, and it's been a pleasure. I would like to, audience listening to this, very important, connect with Lindsay. I don't think I'm going to say anything else because there's been so many tips, so many great insights. And also, Lindsay, I want to share my appreciation for everything you've done, you built, because, what I see, I met you I think we met back in February. Mm-hmm. And the version of you that I'm seeing today is just like, wow, well done for everything that you've created. Keep on inspiring and supporting entrepreneurs, business owners, It is a pleasure to have you here. And it's a pleasure to hear you often on Clubhouse. I know I haven't been to your rooms, so I apologize already. And
Be very
I'll join.
sorry.
Yeah,
very
After saying
very,
that she's
sorry.
not fun, I don't think she's going to invite you to her.
No, I mean, they're very boring, very serious, not very fun. I don't really want to be there.
I, on the other hand, I'm open for an invitation.
Now we go. You see, that's why we call him the eagle. He's just waiting for the prey, and he goes, wah!
Should we tell her why we call you the peacock, or should we wait for another episode?
I mean, if you want to tell, I'm the peacock because I fly high. Simple.
Peacocks don't fly.
Oh, then I'm the peacock. Regardless, I'm still the peacock. What? Why am I the peacock then? I thought I was standing out because I fly high.
Okay. Anyway, on that note, Lindsay, thank you, amazingness. Thank you for coming. You've shared some incredible stuff, and I echo what Jose said. You know, it's been an incredible journey for you. I look forward to onwards and upwards, and you going out there and really going to the next level for you, and may all your wishes and everything come true. And I look forward to seeing your journey grow. So thank you for being on the Public Speaking Expert Podcast.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
Time.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Connect with Lindsay. To the next time, be seen, be heard, and make sure you're always speaking your greatness.
You've been listening to the Public Speaking Experts Podcast with Elliot Kay and Jose Ucar. Follow us on Instagram and join us next week for even more. Remember to always speak your greatness. Subscribe, rate, and comment.